Welcome back to the Bengals Brawl podcast powered by the Brawl Network. We have got an incredible guest. Bengals Captain has joined us on the show today. Welcome to the show, Bengals Captain, one of the most positive, upbeat Bengals fans in social media today. I have got one question to ask you, so let me ask you this.
What has led to the full get up and go? The Houday hat, the suit coat, the jersey, on the edge of the stadium.
You want to hear the whole story?
Well, you obviously
Absolutely.
know people. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
You know what? Just cut me off when you want to, but it was actually spawned from a Microsoft commercial.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So I started a job, IT at a construction company. Nobody listened to shit I had to say. So I said, you know what? I'm going to grow a beard like everybody else so they take me seriously.
Got it.
Grew out the beard. Everybody called me Captain Obvious. That's where the nickname came from.
Okay.
So our tailgate gets a phone call. Hey, why don't you be in one of those Microsoft Surface commercials? You may have seen them, everybody, how they use it and whatever they do. Well, they wanted some football fans. I'm like, well, I used to just go ahead and tuck the jersey into my cargo shorts, suburban dad, and I don't have any kids. So what a good look. And we got Houday Baby in our tailgate. Big John's got a big mohawk. King Houday's got a mohawk. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to look like a dork tucking my jersey into my shorts. I got to think of something. Night before, we said, you know what, let's run with this Captain Obvious thing. I had gotten a crappy suit from Amazon, and we butchered it. I had paint bleeding through the back. It was ugly. I'm like, I'm not going to wear it. The wife, Jess, says, you know what, go ahead and wear it. We got stomped by the Ravens opening day. Stomped. But everybody laughed so much at the costume, I just decided, you know what, that's what I'm going to do.
So you've tidied things up since the paint days. You've got full orange material matching hat. You've achieved some kind of rank with the stars and bars and the Houday brim.
One thing I've noticed that's really cool about the Bengals fan base, and maybe it is with every fan base, and I just don't pay attention enough, but we have such a wide variety of fans from the analytical types of, Joe Goodberry's and all those guys to people that dress up in costumes. And man, we have such a wide variety of costumes even of that people are dressing up in. And
yep.
That goes all the way back to the Star Wars guy that used to sit there in the end zone in the orange and black. But what do you attribute that to, first of all? And then secondly, do you have a favorite costume other than yours, obviously?
I got to answer that one. It's Houday Baby. I always saw the foam finger #1 fan guy. So he's on TV a lot, but I saw Houday Baby a lot. We accidentally parked in the same parking lot as the tailgate that we're in now. And I said, oh my God, that's Houday Baby. Eventually we went over, we got to know the guys, and the rest is history. But he's the reason that I did that. I'm like, I can't have that dude running around with this amazing costume. Search Houday Baby or search Bengals fans on Getty Images, and there are like 1,000 pictures of him, and he knows every one of them. He posed for every one of them. Don't let him lie to you. But so he's my inspiration.
How many years have you been Captain Obvious?
Started in 2017.
Okay. So how long after 2017 did you realize you were fandom celebrity at Paul Brown Stadium? Did it take over after the first year? People started recognizing you?
After the first year, when people wanted a picture with me, and I have this beautiful wife next to me, and they're like, here, can you hold this? Can you take our picture? And I'm just looking at these guys like, no, man, you're doing it wrong, buddy. That's when I'm like, okay, the people are having enough fun with it that this is something big. And it's great because I am a positive fan. This is a hobby that I choose. I'm not going to get too worked up. So when things stink, I'm not going to get too worked up. So I appreciate that people look for me for photos and to chat or vent.
So I've seen your picture on Twitter where you identify you and your lovely bride as a power couple of Bengals fans. And I mean this in the most respectful way possible. You've got a phenomenal beard, but my friend, you have way outpunted your coverage.
Yes, absolutely. That you are not the first person to say that, and I think I should be getting offended by now, but I know. I absolutely know. Oh, I have you know what? If you search for her and NPC bikini competition, she used to do bodybuilding bikini competitions.
Hang on a second, Jake. Could you mute Jake real quick before you start? He's the only minor on the crew here.
There are some competitive photos of her that are just, you know, and the funny thing is she is twice as intelligent as she is beautiful. So yes, I question her judgment in men, but I'll take it.
You have found the rare mix of intelligence, grace, beauty, and clearly horrible eyesight.
Cheers to that. Absolutely. First date we went to see, I can't remember her name, but Stifler's mom.
Okay.
We went to see her at Funny Bone, and the topic came up. She's from Cincinnati. We're around Columbus, so I said, "Oh, you Bengals fan?" She says, "Who dey?" And that was it. I was sold.
Boom. Let's get on to some Bengals talk. I know Jake has been chomping at the bit. Just as a quick introduction, here's our crew with us. We've got superfan Josh Cavalcante. Obviously, I'm West Coast Mark. We've got Jake the Kid Circus. And pretty much the key to our stardom, Sam Connaughton. He's our, he does a lot for us. He's our designated beverage consumer.
I love that. Always great day.
He's our in-stadium correspondent at Bengals games and at Browns Bengals games. So he's gone on the road into enemy territory.
Nice.
And he's
got to say hi when he sees me then.
Yeah, he's our designated instigator.
I love to instigate. Nothing better. Public enemy number one.
Jake, lead us off here, man. What questions do you have for the Bengals captain?
Oh, I mean, I got to come prepared. Well, first of all, because
you've only known for what a week that he's coming on.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. First of all, I'm from LA, right? So like everyone always asks me like how you become a Bengals fan, and I had this crazy story about my dad. How he started rooting for them when he was 9 years old when he was in LA, and he had gone to a game in Cincinnati. It's just a ridiculous story. And then people look like, why are you a Bengals fan? So where did it start for you? Was it just because you're just Columbus, or it's like what made you root for this just horrible team?
Hey, they're great.
I am as no. I am as absolute
we're starting off right here like
no.
Ooh.
Because
please let me preface this. Let me preface this question. Jake's lens is a 5-year window, 4.5-year window.
No, you're wrong. That's
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
That's wrong. I mean, we're still.
So it went from playoff, maybe Super Bowl caliber team to, yeah. Okay, yeah. I got you. No, so I got dragged to Tennessee as a kid, and everybody, that was the '88 Super Bowl. I was young enough that I had never watched football, didn't know anything about it, and here are all these kids looking at me like, them Bengals are going to lose, don't you? Number one, I don't understand the English you're using. Number two, what is a Bengal? So we went back and forth. I bet a quarter on the game. I ran home. I'm like, Mom, we've got to watch the Bengals. She's thinking we're going to put on MTV. No, it's the Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl. Had no idea what was going on, but I am to this day, huge Garfield fan.
Oh,
the orange
classic
and black cat. Bingo. I saw the helmets. I'm like, oh my God, this is my team. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to root for this team. And man, did they suck me in during that Super Bowl.
That's crazy. That is a crazy, crazy story. Garfield. Who would have thought?
Yep.
The man in the lasagna.
Bingo. You know it.
I know it. I read some Garfield comics back in the day, the fat cat. So can you walk me through your pregame ritual? So you wake up on Sunday. When I wake up on Sunday morning, I got a quick little pep in my step. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Bengals on at 1, football all day long. Walk me through your pregame for a regular Bengals game where you're going to the game at Paul Brown Stadium, or the past couple of weeks when we haven't had fans at the stadium. What does that kind of look like?
Past couple of weeks I thought it was going to be easier because I could roll out of bed and go downstairs. But we've done so many virtual things. Once again, my beautiful wife requires zero anything to look good. Man, I'm trying to buy studio lighting. I'm trying to fix stuff here and there, change anything to make me look better. And it's just not working. So I'm putting a lot of effort into this virtual stuff, way more than, honestly, game day driving down. Now, what sucks about going down to Cincinnati is it's a 2-hour drive.
Right. So you have to get up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm probably up 6:30 in the morning, grouchy, not happy. Luckily, I drive down. I don't drive down on this. I end up changing, in the parking lot. So if anybody ever wants a show, I change in the parking lot about 9 o'clock in the morning, and haven't been arrested yet. And then just help the tailgate set up. It's a lot of work. There are a lot of good tailgates around the stadium, and it takes 10, 20 people pitching in to make sure that they're a success. So that's where I spend my time. And then we try to dip out. I wish I could, hang out with everybody the entire time, but we dip out and try to get inside the stadium about 11 o'clock, 11:15, just so we can watch warm-ups and, get some high fives.
Awesome. Yeah.
Now, Cap, you've mentioned your tailgate. It's the Bengals Bomb Squad.
Bengal Bomb Squad, yep.
Tell us a little bit about it, where you guys are located, what you guys do. I know it seems like you guys are having a great time no matter where you're at. Lots of good videos and content that you guys have put out over the years. Tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely great tailgate. We saw them, we started hanging out with them, and then one day Big John ends up coming over to me with a pin with my face on it. He stalked me on Facebook and screen grabbed a picture. Thank God it was a decent one. I don't have many of those. And he puts us on a button and, hey, you're part of it. You've been helping out. We appreciate you. You're part of the squad now. It's a great touch. But, they have a raffle every game. All that money goes to charity. They have various different charity drives, cancer-free kids. We've done stuff for people's Pelotonia. We've got all kinds of different drives. I know they had the Mask versus Mohawk the one year, and that raised thousands of dollars for charity, just that one alone. A bunch of good people. Come on by, drink for free, eat for free. We're opposing fan friendly as long as they're not horrible people. We've rarely gotten any of those.
Not too many Steelers fans.
No, it's amazing how that works out. Who'd have thunk? But we're lot 1, and if you turn down, the entrance, the stairs up into the stadium, it's right across the street. And if you just walk into lot 1 and look all the way to the right with a wall that runs alongside third, you'll see the wacky waving inflatable 2-man. What was the Family Guy? I can't remember. Anyway, we got one of those, one big wavy guys, and Bengal Bomb Squad bus and all that stuff. You'll see us. I stick out. It's funny because this is not, if you hate to be Captain Obvious, but this is not the official orange. I decided to keep it rather than go to a more official orange because I am blindingly easy to spot.
Well, so it looks pretty official to me, my friend. And I think you're selling yourself short, and we're selling yourself short as far as the looks, because you look phenomenal.
That's how I roll.
For the listeners that can't see you,
I'll send you your check.
He's dressed up in the full get up for us here for the show, and you look phenomenal, my friend.
For the uninitiated and the non-Twitter followers, I can tell you, Bengals Captain, he's the light at the end of the tunnel. He is consistently Mr. Positive, despite all of the negativity surrounding him in the Bengals fan base. This guy finds the shiny coin every single time and finds a way to turn the conversation positive to say, this is not the direction we need to take things. And I think that's probably a key part of fandom, and part of what Josh led us off with is saying the Bengals fan base is accepting of all types. you have taken upon yourself to say, hey, let's stay as positive as we can be. We are fans at the end of the day. Can we be critical? Yes. But if you're endlessly beating down the team, how is that really your description of being a fan? And I can tell you as one, I truly appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
At times it seems like you're fighting an uphill battle for sure, but it's always, you always come out as the bright guy every time.
You know, it doesn't happen a lot, but, you know, you'll go to games and there's a fan in Bengals gear yelling obscenities at a Bengals player. Or obviously we see comments on Twitter, and I'm thinking, you know, I literally just made the comment on Twitter before I hopped on here. I had to tell a guy, I'm like, man, you're fun at parties. What on earth? Like, I get it. We're not happy with the offensive line play. You know, I would be a fraud if I said, hey, guys, it's okay. It needs to improve. You know, I get why they've done what they've done, because it did improve last year at the end of the year. We're seeing some backpedaling now that I didn't expect. You know, it happens, but you got to look at the bright side. You know, plus, if there's any change that we ever want, in business, in life, in relationships, you're not going to get someone's ear. No one's going to listen to you if you're cussing them out, if you're telling them that they're absolutely the worst. Bengals ownership doesn't want to talk to anybody that thinks, you know, quote unquote, I've seen it on Twitter, Mike Brown should die. That's just horrible. You're not going to affect change with that kind of attitude. Whereas me, I've had executives approach me at games and introduce themselves. I've been at charity events and people have said hello. I'm not special because of that. They are great people, but they recognize the fans who are trying to support them and will ask questions the right way. And I've asked questions. I've gotten the answers that I was looking for. Some of the things that happened last season with the T-shirt cannons, I've said before, that's something I pounded the tables for every year. I want T-shirt cannons. I don't know why, but every time I go to a Blue Jackets game and they've got drones floating around with freebies, people love it. Guess what? We've got it. We finally got it. They do listen, but they listen to the right people. Just like all of us here, we're not, somebody just stops you at the side of the road, you know, stops you in the street and tells you how horrible of a person you are. You're going to keep walking. Yeah, I'm not going to approach it that way. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I did see you were, to your credit, you did put something out there where you're concerned over the offensive line and it needed to be addressed, which I was proud of you there, because there are a few times where I feel like maybe you're a little bit too positive concerning the circumstances. Do you feel that way ever?
You know, I would say most of the time, and you got me to stutter there. You might have me. Most of the time, if you ask me, I've got a reason to back it up. So like the O-line play, they started to play better with backups, all the injuries, and they gelled late last season. I get it. It wasn't maybe against top tier talent, but I, you know, look at film, single out a couple of positions, and I'm seeing mistakes that they weren't making at the end of the year. I get it. We had enough holes that the team decided go all in on defense, and boy, did they ever go all in on linebackers in the draft. If you look at after the first, second round, I don't know that I would have went all in on offensive linemen in this draft, but maybe next draft. But you know what? I don't think they have a choice anymore, and I think you're going to see they're going to go all in on offensive linemen in the draft. So I can back that up with how I came to that conclusion. Sometimes it's just, you know what? I am not going to focus on bad play, because guess what? There are so many other people that got that cornered. Seriously, you know, we've got Twitter guys with tens of thousands of followers who will give you every negative, upset, hyperbole, insult, joke, trashing the team you want. I can't offer anything creative in that department anymore. Everybody else is on top of it. Yeah, the market's flooded. So you know what? Let me try to innovate a little bit and, you know, look at the positive. Yes, offensive line is rough. It's got to improve. But you know what? I loved Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton, you know, things fell apart around him. I think a lot of the stuff was unfair. But I have not seen a quarterback I can't really think of a quarterback that we've had when things have been this bad. And he's just like, I'm like, holy cow, we can win these games. Everything's falling apart. We're making mistake after mistake. We're kicking balls out of bounds. We've got inopportune holding penalties. We've got every possible like rookie mistake you could have to shoot yourself in the foot. And Burrow's keeping us in it. He's a freak. He is absolutely as advertised. So yeah, I'm going to focus on Burrow.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He has absolutely been phenomenal. And Andy was a good quarterback for us for many years. There's the jersey, repping the 9. And Andy was a good quarterback for us for many years, but it shows you the difference when you have an elite talent at the position. Yeah. You're always going to be in a game.
Yep, there better be a difference between a number 1 overall and a 2nd-round pick. They're better. And
through 3 games, that's been totally clear.
Dude, I've never seen it. You know, all of the impressive rookie seasons, like, you know, Mahomes, he had all pros around him. He had Andy Reid. He had all these things in place, and he took over a division champ. You know, Burrow, we still got to repair some stuff from Marvin's tenure. We've still got to get everybody on the same page. There's so many things going on, and he keeps getting better. I don't understand it. He's built different.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about Joe Burrow is this is the first time in a while, I think maybe since Carson Palmer pre-ACL, that the quarterback of the Bengals is the tractor instead of the trailer. He is the guy who can lead the offense. It doesn't have to have great guys around him, just around him. And again, I was an Andy Dalton fan. I thought Andy did great things for the city of Cincinnati. But when you see it now and you're like, okay, you look at everything around Joe Burrow, and yet we are still in every single game. We've only lost by, you know, a combined 8 points through 3 games. It's definitely a good thing to see. And, you know, it's definitely something that you can hang your hat on. You can definitely be positive about Joe Burrow. There's no doubt about it. Every single person in sports media, they love Joe Burrow. It's great. Usually you don't see that.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
Colin Cowherd flips on a switch. He's like, Joe Burrow, this guy stinks. And then all of a sudden
he goes, exactly.
Yeah, game 1, Chargers. And then he starts comparing him to Baker Mayfield, but that's either here or there. But it's weird. It's honestly like this city, it doesn't get embraced very often, but he's kind of the guy that everybody's like, yeah, he's the real deal. Like there's something to be worried about in Cincinnati if you're everybody else.
You use the word embrace, and I think that's really important because, you know what, as much as I loved Andy Dalton, you know, unfortunately he was a lightning rod, and Joe Burrow has come in, he's done the right things, he's said the right things, his trajectory is off the charts, he is growing each game and getting better at a rate that I've never seen, and if he keeps it up, you know, all of the talk from the national media, we know they don't pay attention to us. We know,
exactly.
You know, the things that they say are just absolute BS. But they're going to start. They might not pay attention to us. They'll just make up stuff that are positive because Joe Burrow, because we've got that face, that one guy that everybody wants to latch on to that's perfect for the national media, local, casual fans, hardcore fan, everybody's on board. We are finally unified in that most important, most visible position. And, hey, now we just got to build around him.
Exactly.
Well, it's certainly a weird match and a weird fit for the national media because this is a team that was a stretch where they made the playoffs 5 times for 5 consecutive years, won 2 division titles, still never really got national media attention. And then here's this guy, Joe Burrow, coming in, throws 60 touchdown passes, and then for 3 months, he should not go to this team. And we're like, why? Like, why should he not go to this team? And then through his first 3 career games, everybody's like, okay, Cincinnati has a player in this kid, and now they need to add just some more pieces on the O-line, and they're awesome.
Yep. And you look at the Browns year before, you know, I feel like their offensive line had started to slide down to the back end of the 20s, you know, sniffing the 30 mark that we've been hovering around, and one off season, you know, and I get it. People want to talk about coaching. I'm looking at some of the talent, and I'm looking at some of the pieces and how they coordinate. And you know what? Cleveland went out. They lost Zeitler, and they went out and got some guys. We've got the opportunity to get some guys and turn the offensive line around overnight.
Game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's obviously now I'll go on the record. I will say publicly that I believed and I heard some stuff that maybe wasn't reported, but I believe that the success of the offensive line last season would carry over, especially adding Jonah and Sofilo. But what I've seen is I don't know that I could ever trust that again. If they improve again, if they end up like it starts clicking and then, we don't have to address it next year. No, I'm not comfortable with that anymore. I was comfortable with it going into this year. I'm no longer comfortable. We need to attack offensive line in the draft.
I'm not comfortable with it for the rest of the season. I would rather them go out and try to address something right now, trade a 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick, and go try to get somebody. But we'll see. I'm assuming that's not going to happen given the history of what we've seen out of the Bengals, but you never know.
Well, they tried a couple guys out in practice today, so we may be looking at some additions.
And everybody's talking about it is not the people on this roster. That's not how you fix it. You can't bring up Alex Redmond. You can't sign this Calhoun guy. That's not how you fix it. You got to go out, make this splash. Exactly what they did with the linebacker room, exactly what they did with the secondary, and exactly what they did with DJ Reader. 3 parts of the defense last year that was terrible. They went out in March and April and changed this team. And for whatever reason, obviously they ran out of time and ran out of money. There wasn't that to do on the offensive line, and they chose the defense over the line. But there's more time this offseason, or even right now, as you said, Josh. But it's not bringing up Alex Redmond. It's not anyone on the roster that can, there's no diamond in the rough, because Fred Johnson, we've seen how he's played through a game and a half. He's obviously not it.
He might be a right tackle. He might be struggling at guard. He might be better at tackle. We'll see, but that would help us right now. Yeah, that would help us right now. That would help Burrow not get killed. Burrow getting rid of the ball a little quicker on some of these plays might help him out too. But yeah, absolutely. We can hammer the offensive line next season.
Yeah, and as I said in our last show, I think a rude maitre d' would be a little bit more of an inconvenience to the defensive pass rush than what we've got right now on the left side.
I think, and to be honest with you guys, we keep hammering the offensive line, but people on Twitter are saying it, and I'm kind of starting to agree with it. We need to emphasize the run game. We can't just have Joe Burrow dropping back and throwing, 50, 60 passes a game. I know it might not work all the time, but you pay Joe Mixon to be a stud. You extended Joe Mixon to get you yards and to, keep your quarterback upright when he's running the ball. And he's averaging a little less than 3 yards a carry. That has to change. We have to show a little bit more commitment to the run, because once that happens and teams just can't go, all right, let's pin our ears back and fly at Joe Burrow, he's going to stay up in the pocket a little bit more. He's going to have a little bit more time when defenses are a little bit worried about Giovanni Bernard and Joe Mixon running for a little bit, chunks of here and there. They did a lot of misdirection in the game, and I thought that was beneficial down the stretch, but we need to see a little bit more of that. I think we give up on the run a little bit too early, and I think we should just keep it going. Especially when you pay Joe Mixon the money that we did in the offseason.
I'm so glad to hear it. I've seen supposed analysts trying to steal this and that data point and say, running backs don't matter. Suddenly everybody's flipping their tune. We need to run the ball more. Absolutely. We need a strong offensive line, at least strong enough that Joe Mixon can see some daylight. Looking at some film, talking to a couple people, there has been some miscommunication on some of the run blocking. And, guys inside the building that might have missed an assignment. And I think that might be part of the reason why they have went away from things at times, just because, they've still got some wrinkles to work out. We didn't have this line last year. So these guys are still trying to gel. It's just got to happen quicker. But absolutely, even if you're using Mixon as an extension of the run game with a short passing attack, getting the ball out quicker, I'm all for it.
We mentioned Zach Taylor here. I would like to get your thoughts. We're now 0-10-1, that has been well reported in one possession games. What are your thoughts on that stat and Zach Taylor in general?
As far as Zach Taylor, I'm a fan. I'm absolutely a fan. I have a hard time judging anything last season because everybody wanted to tank. Everybody wanted what happened. You know, I saw some things that he tried last season that are not happening this season. He's got a different quarterback. You know, we lost all the tight ends. We didn't have AJ Green. We didn't have any of the pieces that he wanted to run. So I think sometimes he said, you know what, let's give this a shot, knowing it might be difficult. And if it's difficult and it doesn't work, we get Joe Burrow. Great. This season has been different. We've been in every game. Last year, we were feeling pretty good about ourselves against the Seahawks, and then we got throttled.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, we weren't – it was the most miserable I've been in the stadium. I mean, I was faking some cheers and smiles, and, you know, we stayed to the very end clapping, and it hurt. It was rough. We haven't had that this year, you know, and we've got a lot of new pieces, and we still have not had that this year. So, you know what? Give him a shot. Let's see what Burrow can do. Let's let him fix that offensive line next season. Now, you know what? Bring me back on next season after the draft. If we don't address the offensive line, I might have a different opinion, but I think he's smart enough. I can hear it. I can see it in the plays. I can see it in the play design. Some of the things that are just barely missing, we're close. When it starts to work, people will stop questioning.
That's the positivity right there.
That is the positivity to a T.
Absolutely. Bengals Captain, it has been an honor to have you as a guest. We will wrap this up with one question, which we do with every guest. We line it up next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 3-point favorite for our beloved Cincinnati Bengals. Give us your prediction. We've already, the rest of us has already placed our prediction, and I'm not going to spoil it for you by telling you what. So give us what your prediction is.
I'm going to keep rolling with the same score. I keep repeating every week. It's got to hit eventually. 28-21 good guys, and really the mistakes have been changing week to week. I think finally we start to clean up some of the errors, and we have a little bit more balanced game. I honestly think the fans in the stands, I'm telling you, some of these players miss us. I guarantee there's going to be more energy at PBS, and it's going to help.
Got it. Thank you once again. Joining us at the Bengals Brawl podcast on behalf of Josh Superfan Cavalcante and Sam the Man Connaughton, Jake the Kid Circus, this is West Coast Mark, and thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great. You guys are great.
Hey, thank
Love
you.
it.
We appreciate it.